Hello all, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do another currently inked video. This is for the month of November. I hope to do these videos at the end of every month. I really enjoy watching everyone else's currently inked and collection videos. Those are my two favorite types of videos to watch. So I'm going to join in. I did one last month about this time, so these are my favorites for November. I have my usual, these are still all inked up from last month, but I still carry these to work every day, but I won't go into these again. These are a new set of, what do we have here, about 10 pens that I have used pretty much all month. So the first is a pen that I saw on Penultimate Dave's channel. This is the Nona 14 by London Pen Company. Dave has a lot of nice pens, very expensive pens, but this one wasn't too bad. So this again is the London Pen Company, Nona 14, and this is a Jonathan Brooks resin, combustion I think it's called. And this is the Benu Euphoria, and this is in French poetry. I did a first impressions video of this one about a month ago or so. This is a fairly new pen. This is the Aurora 888, and it's called the Trilobiti. Hopefully I'm saying that right, and it's in Cobalt. This is the Leboof Pilgrim. This is from was one of the pens in my Truphae collector's box. I get a collector's box every month that typically comes with 1 or 2 pens and a bottle of ink. So this is the Leboof Pilgrim, and the color is Rainforest, and it's a Truphae exclusive. And this is the Pineider Grande Belleza Mystery Filler Black Russian. This pen, it took a while to grow on me, but it definitely has grown on me. This is a older pen. This is a Montblanc 22. Very nice pen. This is a Wing Sung 699. This is a copy of the Pilot Custom 823. This is the Jinhao 80, and this is in blue. Also a very nice pen. This is kind of a mix between the Lamy Safari and a Lamy 2000. This is the Majohn Moonman T1, a big Kaweco. Kind of a big Kaweco. And this is a Waterman's, vintage Waterman 0652. So I will start with the writing samples. And again, like my last video, I'm not going to go into very many details on these pens. Just show you how they write and why I like them so much. Or in case of the Pinider, why it took so long for it to grow on me. So first up, again, this is the London Pen Company Nona 14. It is faceted, 9 sides, and it has a Bach nib. This is a fine nib. So this is how it looks. I always get excited when I see Dave's currently inked videos. I watch them all the way through. He has a beautiful collection of pens. Fine stainless steel. And again, it's a box stainless steel. And the ink here. The ink is Diamine, Aurora Borealis. This does have a little bit of line variation, line weight variation. Just a little bit. That's okay in reverse. Decent hatching in reverse. So that's the London Pen Company, Nona 14, and Jonathan Brooks combustion resin. I love the matte finish on this. Next up is the Benu Euphoria. It was love at first write with this pen. And it's French poetry is the color. Poetry. And this is also fine. There's a pattern that's going to merge in these. Fine is definitely my favorite nib size. Followed by extra fine. Followed by medium. I have a couple broads and one or two stubs. The ink in here is Poly Iroshizuku Yamabudo. Not really any line weight variation to speak of. This is a nice super wet writer. Nice in reverse as well. So that's the Benu Euphoria. And it's a Schmidt nib. This is the French poetry. It's a nice springy clip. This pen, the next pen up, I'll talk a couple minutes about this pen. This pen is was super expensive. I did save a lot of money on it. I saved like $230 on it. But when I got it, I was like, wow, it's smaller than I thought it would be. And I'm like, this looks no fancier than any other, say, Wing Sung or a Twisby demonstrator pen. So I inked it up, then I went to band practice, and I sat down and I started writing with it, and I was like, wow, this is a super writing pen, and it should be. So this is the Aurora 888. It's 18 karat gold nib, and the name of it is Trilobiti. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And it's cobalt blue. So Aurora, and it's like butter. Trilobiti. It's cobalt, and it's a limited edition of 888, I think. And this is also a fine, although it writes like a medium. 18 karat gold. And the beautiful ink in here is J. Herbin. Beautiful, beautiful ink. I was trying to mix it up a little bit to get some of the sheen going, but this is Emerald Chivoire. This does have a nice bit of line weight variation. It's good in reverse as well. So that I guess it was about an hour of regret quickly transformed into, wow, I love this pen. It is has a coated nib, which gives it a little bit of feedback, but it's still very smooth. Just a beautiful writer, as it should be. So let's see, Aurora 888. Next pen, like I said, this came in my Truphae collector's box. And this is, and I never heard of Leboof before. I thought it was a joke when I opened it. I'm like, what is this? And I'm not a really big fan of the cracked ice, but this pen won me over with the way it writes. It is just a beautiful fine, like a perfect fine nib. LeBoeuf Pilgrim. And it is Rainforest. And this is a Truphae exclusive. And it's a fine stainless steel. One of the best fine stainless steel writers that I have. Again, what was doubt? And I'm like, what is this ugly pen? Quickly changed to, oh wow, I love this pen. And it's been inked and it's been in my case ever since I received it. I think I received it, I think it was my October Truphae box. And the ink in here, of course, I had to put Birmingham Pen Company ink in here. And this is Oil Beetle. It does flex a little bit, but it doesn't give me any line weight variation to speak of. It just does the fine job very well. It's a beautiful pen. There's the Leboof nib. There's a longhorn there. Apparently this company has been around for a long time. It's just a cartridge converter. But very nice pen. There's the Leboof, the cap. And next up, my animals are just acting crazy here today. Next up is the Pineider La Grande Belleza mystery filler. It's the Black Russian. So this pen I've had for about 5 or 6 months. And it's just this month that I've really been writing with it. The issue that I have with this, and it's just a lot of little things. This here, this is like some kind of foil. So instead of this being rose gold like all the rest of the pen, they put a rose gold piece of foil on here. And the foil was actually like coming loose. So I actually had to super glue it down. So that's why it looks a little rough there. And that just annoyed me. Just annoyed me to no end. And I finally just decided to super glue it so that it would stop bothering me. And it has. A couple other little things. When you go to fill this pen, you have to really clean it carefully because the ink will get into these little ridges. So today at work I had ink all over my hands. I thought I cleaned it off, but I had ink everywhere. So to fill it, it's just a piston filler. They call it a mystery filler. But you have to, in order to activate it, you have to press this button. So then you can screw it. So you can't screw it. It's locked in place. And this is a cap. It's magnetic. So it posts magnetically. And it has a nice springy clip. And see, I have ink on my fingers already. So that's the line. And it's a flexi nib. I bought this from Pen Venture, from Emmy. So this is the Pineider. By Grande, Belleza. Black Russian. A Grande Belleza Mystery Filler Black Russian. And this is a, as I said, a fine flexi nib. I think they call it a quill nib. So it's a fine flex. And it's a, is it 18 karat? 14 karat. So you see, nice flex to it. And see, reverse. Okay, in reverse. And this is the swatch. This is the ink is, what is it? It's Birmingham Pen Company Blue Bonnet. And Blue Bonnet, once you give it a second, it's going to have a nice, it's multiple shades. Goes from red to blue to a little black. So it's Birmingham Pen Company Blue Bonnet. This is how it looks. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous ink. See that shine and the color difference. So this pen has definitely grown on me. The Blue Bonnet ink definitely helped, but I need to get a handle on the ink leakage. See, I'm getting more and more ink on my hands. So next up is the Montblanc 22. Bought this from Anderson Pens. This is a piston filler. You can see that line there. There's the piston knob. It's a nice ink window. And this is my hooded nib. It's the plain on Montblanc. This is probably from the, I would say the 80s. 70s, 80s, or 90s. I'm not sure. But it's the Montblanc. 22, and this is a medium, 14 karat. It writes like a fine though. And let's see the ink in here. What is the ink in here? It's probably a Waterman's. Yes, it's a Waterman's Mysterious Blue. A Waterman Mysterious Blue. This also is a very flexy nib, although it doesn't have very much line weight variation. But it does flex when you're writing. It does move quite a bit. But really not too much line weight variation. Not much to speak of in reverse, but you can do some good hatching if you're drawing with it. So that's the Montblanc 22. Very similar to the, I think there's a 24 and a 26. Very similar to those. Nice pen. Going from extremes, here's the, although the Montblanc 22 wasn't very expensive. This is the Wing Sung 699. $6.99, and this is a medium stainless steel. Nice smooth writer. And the ink in here, I pretty much had the same ink in here. And this is the same ink that I use in my palette, Custom A23. This is Palette Iroshizuku Ajisai. No really flex to speak of. This is a very super firm nib. Okay, in reverse. It's doable. Not bad at all in reverse. So that's the Wing Sung 699. Really, it's a good alternative to the Custom A23. Really no issues with this pen. It's been reliable. Not quite as good as the A23, of course, but still very good in its own right. So I'm gonna switch pages here. Clean page. And the next pen is the Jinhao 80. Very controversial pen because it's pretty much a copy of the Lamy Safari, an AL Star, and the Lamy 2000. And this is a fine stainless steel. And, you know, it writes well. And I don't feel so bad buying these knockoffs because I have the, except for the Moomin X1, I have the real version, so I don't feel too bad. So the ink in here is Diamond Oxford Blue, and that was to match the blue color of the body. It's very firm. line weight variation at all with this reverse. Not bad in reverse. So that's the Jinhao 80. You can see that it has a copy of. I'm pretty sure you can actually use a Lamy nib on here. And this body, this material, you can't really compare to the material on a Lamy 2000. This is a really cheap plastic that they just tried to make look like the Lamy 2000. I don't think they're going to be fooling anybody with this, but it's a nice pen on its own. They didn't really have to, I think, copy the body shape of the Lamy 2000 and using the nib of the. They could have been kind of original, but I like the pen. You know, it writes very well. It's a nice clip, like the Lamy 2000 clip. But that's the Jinhao 80 with Diamond Oxford Blue. Next up, we have the Mahjong T1. I did a video on the T2 about a week or so ago. So this is a T1. It's a piston filler. Very heavy pen. Very heavy pen. And I have a Kaweco clip on it. I took the original. I put a Kagaloo nib on here. I didn't have really a problem with the Moonman nib that was on here, but it was a medium, and it was it's a little bit too thick of a writer for me. So I put this Kagaloo fine nib on there. So I have to mix this up because it has a shimmering ink in it as well. So this is the Majohn or Moonman T1. And this is a fine Kagaloo stainless steel nib. And the ink in here is a diamond shimmering ink. Hopefully it will show up. So this is diamond shimmering Arctic blue. Diamond. Arctic blue. Again, another firm nib. In reverse. Nice in reverse. So another good pen to draw with, although it's a little heavy. This would tire you after a while. But that's the nice Kagaloo nib. I like Kagaloo's nibs. That's the ink in there. Diamond Arctic blue. It's a nice piston filler. That's the Mahjong T1. Last but not least is a vintage Waterman. It's probably from the 1920s. So this is the Waterman's 0652. And it's the same as the 52, but it has like an extra gold band on here or something. So you can see this actually does have the date on it. It's 1920, 1922. And this is the person's initials, HMD. I think this is a fine. I'm not sure. It's a 14 karat gold nib. And I put, like the Montblanc, I put a gentle ink in here. I took out the diamine that I was using in it. And this is Waterman. It's intense black. I think they call their vintage pens Watermans, but their current, like their inks, are Waterman. So that's why I changed that there. See it, the nice line weight variation this gives you. It's a firm writer when you're just writing normally, but when you push it, it definitely works with you. See that? Beautiful. And it does well in reverse as well. Nothing like a Waterman's Flex nib, as I always say. And that's it for my currently inked for November. As always, thank you all for watching and subscribing and for commenting. Feel free, if you have any questions, to put those in the comments and I'll respond. I promise. Thanks for everyone from all over the world for joining me here and joining in my passion. I really do appreciate it. So can't really ramble on because my battery's getting ready to run out. But until next time, I hope you're all doing well, and take care.